Hi guys, I'm so excited to have you on this channel today. You're welcome. So guys, they'll be making this beautiful Ankara runched dress. It has a collar and of course a button down. So let's just get straight into the business. Okay guys, to start, this is our paper. This where I'm pointing right there is just the starting point. What I have there is 1 inch up. And at this side, I have 2.5 inches. That is for the buttonhole. So I'm just going to measure it. This is 2.5 inches. Okay, I've not folded it yet. So I just want to go ahead and write button just to show you that that place is for our button hole. Okay, now we are making a shirt gown. So I'm just going ahead now to fold it in. That 2.5 inches, I'm going to fold it in before we start taking all our measurements. So I'm done folding it in. This is what I have when I folded it in. So we'll just go ahead now and start drafting our gown, okay? So I'm going in now with all of my measurements. From my shoulder is 11 inches to my bust point. I'm also trying to impute that bust point all around, okay? I'm just imputing all the measurement that I have there. So I'll impute my shoulder to bust point, my shoulder to waist, and of every other measurement. Okay, so I'm just going ahead to impute my shoulder to waist. All right, this is it, which is 19 inches. Okay, so I just want to connect it because this dress is actually very long. I might not do everything at once. I'll be doing it bit by bit. So I'm connecting the lines I already have there. This is my waistline. I've connected the bust line. So from that waistline to my hip line is 9 inches. I'm trying to mark 9 inches. As you can see, this is 9 inches from my waist to my hip line is 9 inches. Okay, so I'm just trying to connect it. So I'll just connect it. I had to change my pen because the other one was faint. Okay, so now I'm trying to get the full length. The dress is long. So I'm trying to turn the paper so that you see. Don't mind the damp paper. I've used this pattern paper for some other drafting before. So I'm just connecting my full length. Okay, so you can measure yourself wherever you want it. Okay, this my own is about 51 inches long. So I'm going ahead now from that button area. I just measured my shoulder, and then the armhole I use is 9.5. My shoulder is 8.5 inches. You want to use your normal measurement of shoulder. You add like half inches to your original measurement of shoulder because it's a shirt. Okay, so I'm just trying to measure the neckline, which is 3 by 3, but I would advise you to, if you're on the big size, you can make it 3.5 inches so that it won't be too tight on your neck, because I had to later I had to just trim off the neckline a bit so that it won't be too tight on me. Okay, so this is, but I have 3 by 3 here on the pattern paper now. Okay, so I'm just trying to connect my measurement right now. I'm just trying to come down by 1.5 inches for my shoulder slope. This is a shirt, so we need to slope the shoulder by 1.5 inches. This is what I'm doing right now. I've sloped the shoulder, and then I'm trying to get my bust measurement, okay, on that line. Okay, so you're going to add extra inches, like 3 more extra inches to your measurement, because it's not a fitted shirt. Okay, as you saw in the beginning, the shirt is not fitted. So I'm just trying to draw my armhole in the middle. I came up to the middle of this armhole and I'm connecting it to my bust point. Okay, so I'm imputing my waist measurement. We already have our bust measurement. You have to add like 3 inches to your measurement or more, depending on how you want it to be free. This is my hip measurement. I'm trying to be sure that everything is accurate. I connected from that bust to the waist, and then I'm going to use a curve ruler, slightly curved ruler, to curve in the hip line. It shouldn't be too curvy because it's a shirt and okay, it's not fitted. So notice that the thing is not very curvy. So from my hemline, I'll just connect straight to, this is it, to the hip line. This is it. I just connected straight to the hip line, as you can see. All right, so this is what we have right now. We are done with that. So I'll just go ahead and add sewing allowance to the side. Okay, I'm just going ahead to add 1 inch sewing allowance. You can do more than that, but 1 inch is okay for me. Okay, so this is where we're going to fix our, this is where the runched will be. Okay, so I'm just going ahead to add 1 inch down to the hemline. After adding it, I'll connect it with my rulers just the same way I connected it initially. So after cutting it out, I'll just, by the side, I went up by 1.5 inches. I'm just connecting it back to the center front, okay, so that it will not be straight at the down part. It will not be completely straight. So that is just, I'll cut it out later, all right? So that is it. I just curved it in a bit like you saw me did. So I'll just set this pattern aside now. But before we do that, you know this is a shirt, okay? The front panel is usually shorter. It drags, there's a way a shirt is. So we're going to remove 1 inch from this shoulder, the front shoulder. We're going to remove 1 inch. I'm trying to remove 1 inch. This 1 inch will take it to the back panel later. You will see everything in this video. So just take off 1 inch or even 1.5 inches from the front, cut it out. Before you cut it out, please make sure you label it. Label the armhole part, label the upper part and the down part, label the neck part, so that when you're returning it back to the back, you put it exactly where you should be, so that you won't go and carry the neck part and put on the armhole part, and you carry the armhole part and put on the the neck part, and you won't go and carry where it's supposed to be up and put down. So just label it. As you can see me, I labeled it, so it will be very easy for you to just return it back to the back panel. Okay, so we are going to cut off this now. All right, so you see it, this is how it will be now. All right, so I'll just go ahead now and open it, and I will show you. You see that zipper buttonhole. See the buttonhole allowance, see how it is. This is how it's looking. So if your pattern looks like this, that means you're actually on the right path. So I'll go ahead, I will fold it back, and then I will try and trim off the down part, the hemline. See how I came in, just trim it off. If you want your own to go higher than this, you can do up to 3 inches, depending on what you want. Okay, so this my own is almost invisible, you won't even notice it. So this is the back panel now. The back will be on fold. There is no zip, there is no button at the back. The back will be on fold. So everything I have done for the front is what you can see here. This is our we have the armhole line there, and then we have the bust point, the waist point, the hip, everything. So right now I'm just going ahead to mark the neck. For the neck, it's going to be 3 inches by 1 inches. Okay, the depth is 1 inches. It's not the same with the back, because you know it's going to have a bishop collar. So you want it to be 1 inches depth. Okay, so take note of that. 3 by 1 for the back. Then for the back shoulder slope is 1 inch. While for the front is 1.5 inches. That is basically one of the difference. And I came up here by 4 inches, the same way I came up for the back, and I connected it. And I'm connecting my bust to my waist and then to my hip. The same thing I did for the back. Make sure you add like 3 inches to your extra, to your measurement. Okay, I've used this pattern paper for something else. That is why you're seeing those drawings, so don't mind it. So this is it here. Everything is just the same apart from the things I mentioned earlier. So I'll just go ahead now. I'm just adding my 1 inch allowance. You can decide to add this allowance when you're cutting on your fabric, but I just wanted to add an allowance here, so that when I get to my fabric, I know it's just the allowance I'm adding is just on the armhole, the shoulder and the neck. I won't add allowance to the side anymore. So that is why I'm doing it here, but you can decide to do yours on the fabric. Okay, so I'm just connecting it just exactly how I connected the front. That is how I'm connecting the back. So I am done doing that. Everything is accurate. I'll just go ahead. This gown is very long, like you saw on the video. So the same way I came up by 1.5 inches by the side of the back, the same way I did for the front, so that one will not be longer than the other. All right, so I'm just cutting it out as you can see me doing. So I'm done cutting it out. Please pay attention. This is what we cut out from the front. You see how I say you should label it to avoid confusion. So I'm going to flip it like this, so that the neck will be facing the neck, the armhole will be facing the armhole, and then I'll use my masking tape to mask it. See how I've joined it with my masking tape. Okay, so you just go ahead. This is how it's going to be by the time you sew it on your fabric. Okay, So I'm done cutting it out of my fabric. This is the fabric, this is the front. You see how I cut the front, exactly how it is on the pattern is how I cut it out. So this is it for the front panel. Is 2 pieces, okay? The front panel is 2 pieces. So let me just take off the pin so that you will see what I'm talking about. So this is the back panel. I'll just grab the front panel now and place it on the back. The front is 2 pieces because of the button. So I'm just trying to arrange it, place it on the back like this, armhole facing armhole. Once you arrange the armhole align, the front will automatically drag the back by 1 inch. You know, the back has an extra 1 inch that we added to it. So once you you join the shoulder now, arrange armhole to armhole. Make sure the armhole aligns. The front will automatically drag the back by 1 inch. So I'm still trying to arrange it. Then for that button, see what I'm doing. The button allowance, just fold it in by 1/2 inch, and then you fold it in again like this by 1 inch. So you measure it, make sure what you have there is up to what you want. Like I want it to be 1 inch after I finish sewing it. So when you fold it by 1/2 inch and you fold it again, everything it should give you there is 1 inch. I have 1 inch. So you have to be consistent in your sewing. So you can iron a stay on it, just a soft hair stay to give it that, make it firm a little bit, okay? But I didn't iron anything on my own. So I've joined the shoulder. After I have weaved this cloth, I weaved this cloth everywhere. The armhole minus, the only place I did not weave is the neckline. So I've joined the shoulder, okay? See the shoulder now, I've done it. You see how the front is dragging the back by 1 inch, making it have that shirt look, okay? So this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do after you finish sewing it. This is what it's going to look like after you finish sewing it. So I'm done sewing the button. See the button area, I'm done sewing it. The shoulder, I've joined it. See how it is. See how the front drag the back by 1 inch and everything, the armhole align, everything is perfect. So I'll just go ahead now, I'll fix my sleeve. That is what is left for me for now. I'll just go ahead, I'll fix the sleeve and then I'll come and show you. So you see the sleeve, I fixed it. It's very easy to fix. I fixed it and then I went ahead and joined the side. Yeah, I joined the side. And then to fix the ruche is very easy. On your armhole, come down by 1 inch, as you can see me doing. Just come down by 1 inch so that the ruching will not get to your armhole. Then you grab your rope. The rope is exactly the length of your dress from the armhole, okay, down. So you insert the rope inside like this, insert it, and then you sew it. Make sure you match on the rope so that when you're dragging the rope, it will not pull out. You match it and then you keep folding it inside. Keep folding it inside and you keep sewing. Keep folding it inside. After you have notched that place, you have sewed the beginning so that it will not drop. Then you do it for the both sides, okay? See it. I'm done sewing both sides. See it. I sewed both sides. So the rope is on the 2 sides of the allowance. Okay, the rope is 2, one on the left and one on the right. I'm going to do it for the 2 sides. See, I'm dragging it. It's not pulling out because I already held it in the beginning under my armhole. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. See, the rope is 2 ropes. You can make it 1, sure, but this 2 is usually very fine. Okay, so when you drag it, you can drag it to anywhere you land. Like you can drag it up onto your waist, you can drag it up onto your hip, depending on how you want it. All right, so just keep dragging it onto anyhow you want to style it. All right, because the rope started from 1 inch after your armhole. See how I'm dragging it, see how free it is, and it's nothing is holding it. Okay, so for the collar now is very simple. I'm just trying to mark 12 inches here. This 12 inches is not static. Just mark a very long line. That is what I will tell you, because this 12 inches is more than my neckline. Just mark a long line like I marked here, and try to get the middle. So I have 12 inches on that line. Please, it's not 12 inches that you must mark. Make your own longer. All right, so I'm going to get the middle of this 12 inches now. That is for my collar. I'm marking the middle now. You see, I've marked it, which is 6 inches. So now I will label it. This other side is my front. Okay, I marked it F. This side is my back. All right, so I'm just going to grab it shoulder to shoulder. I will measure the front neckline. I'm trying to measure it. What I have when I measured it is 4.5 inches for the front. From one end of the shoulder to the front is 4.5. So from that middle line now, on the front part, I'll mark 4.5. All right, I've marked 4.5. I'll go back to the fabric. I'll measure the back. What I have at the back is 4.75. Is more than 4.5 inch. 4.75. I will also mark it at the back side. So after I've done that, I'll just go ahead now. On this front part, I will mark 1.5 inch up. I'll mark 1/2 inch up. Then at the back, I'll mark 0.5. It will not be up to 0.25. Sorry, I'll mark 0.25. It will not be up to 1/2 inch. Then I'll use my ruler to connect it. Okay, but before I connect it with this curve ruler, I'll just use this straight ruler to connect to that 1/2 inch. I'll also connect to that 0.25 inch that we have. And then from this front, you can make it curvier than this. On this front, just connect it to the middle. Connect it to the middle like so. On the back too, you connect from your 0.25 to the middle. Okay, you know we have a middle point that separates the front and the back, so you connect it like so. Then from there, just start marking the length of your collar. In this case, my collar length is just 1 inch. So if you want your own to be 1.5 inches, just start marking it from that your line. All right, to not be a straight line. See, I'm marking 1 inch. I don't want my collar to be longer than 1 inch, but you can make yours longer. So I'm just going to connect all those 1 inch I have marked, connect it with my curve ruler. Make sure you connect it very well. Take your time. I'll just connect it like this. See how it is. Then I'll just use this ruler to connect it from my 0.25 to that other part, to the 1 inch. I'll connect from my 1/2 inch here to my 1 inch up. You see, the collar is ready. Very simple. I'll just use my scissors and then I'll go ahead. I'll cut out the collar. Please, when you're cutting this collar on your fabric, make sure that the back is on fold. You know that the back of a shirt is on fold. There's no zip, no button, but the front will not be on fold. Make sure the back is on fold. That is why you have to label it, so that you know which place is the back and which place is the front. You also have to label the down part and the up part. I labeled my own. I'm labeled where the up will be and where the down will be, so that when you won't get confused. So I went ahead on my collar gum. This is a collar gum now. I'm cutting it, making sure that the back is on fold. I place the back on fold while the front is open. I'm cutting the front now. It's open. The other side is the back. All right, so it's not open. So I'll just go ahead now. I'll go ahead and I'll cut it out. I'll also cut it out on my fabric so that you see everything. I've opened it up. This is it. I labeled up and down. I'm still labeling it just so I will not make a mistake. So you need to label everything. So I'm cutting it on my fabric. You should cut it out on your fabric. You need 2 pieces of this. One will serve as a lining. Please add your allowances, 1/2 inch all through on the upper part and the down part and on the center front, because you need that 1/2 inch allowance to be able to sew it. So you should cut 2 of these. One will serve as your lining. So I'll go ahead. I will still place it and I'll cut it, making it 2 pieces that I'm cutting for this collar. All right, so make sure that the center back is on fold. See it, my center back is on fold. All right, except you're doing a different style where the center back is open. Maybe you want to have a zip at the center back, you can now leave it open. But if it is this style, please make sure it's on fold. All right, so I'm just cutting everything out now. when I'm done cutting it out, I'll go ahead, I will iron that hairstay, my collar gum, the collar gum, I'll iron it on one of the pieces. All right, so let me just open it up. Make sure you notch it, okay? Make sure you notch it. I think I notched the upper part. I'm trying to decide where to notch. I think it's either the down part or the upper part. Just notch anywhere that you remember. Okay, so I'm opening it up now. I'm trying to look for my notch. Okay, so this is it. Okay, I'll just place it like this. I'm looking for where it has the gum. You iron the place that has the gum on the wrong side of the fabric. Make sure you leave your allowances. You see my 1/2 inch allowances, I left it. Okay, so you just go ahead and iron it on your machine, and you grab the other one. Make sure the right sides are facing each other, and the upper part is facing the upper part, the down part is facing the down part, and you sew it. Okay, I went ahead and I just sewed the upper part. I did not sew the down part because that is where I'm going to sew to the fabric, to the neck of the fabric. So I'm going to sew it from one side to the other side like this. All right, I'm going to sew it like so from end to end. After I finish sewing it, I will now turn it to the right side. This is it. I'm done sewing it. Okay, so I will now sew it to the right side like this. After I've joined it, so I will now insert the rough edges inside the collar and go and top stitch it.